Milwaukee today. So this is a multi-tool, the BMT variety, not the BLT. So it's doing nothing when you've got a battery in. These generally break in one or two different ways as standard, actually. So a connector actually comes off the motor, which is really annoying because you can't reconnect it very easily, so you have to buy a new motor. The other way normally is a snap cable, which is repairable, which is good. But this is a third way, if you like. So the rubber seals come off and got stuck there, which has then dragged the cables in to the bearing at the bottom there, and it started to strip the blue one and basically wrap round itself. So what's probably happened is this has been used, it's started to do all that, dragged itself in the motor there at the end, and then just caused it to fail. So I don't think the wrapping of itself around it is actually just holding it, but we'll double check that in a minute. The cables are still connected, just in a bad state. So the blue one is the worst one. The red one actually seems okay. It's not even damaged, to be honest. But the blue one there is stripped and it's frayed. It's in quite a bad state. So we couldn't reuse that anyway. We'd have to snip that off and either put a new length of cable in there or a new whole cable, which you'd have to change the controller for. But we'll see when we get to that anyway. So just looking at this, we'll rule the switch in or out, and then we'll rule the motor in or out. And if you just think of this as a circuit, there's not many things that could go wrong on this. You've got the power source at the bottom, you've got the wire, a motor, and a switch. So if you think of this, when you're at school doing simple circuits, it's quite simple to fix this sort of thing, or at least work out what's wrong. Now I've got the power on there. It's actually lighting up the light at the top, which means there's power going through the controller to that. So I'd suggest that that's potentially okay, which we'll find out in a minute if anything else is wrong. But that's a good sign. So that means it's something with the motor in my mind. You can see the cables are slightly damaged, so they're obviously part of the circuit that needs to be fixed. But what I'll do is I'll get the motor off. I've got a power supply on my other bench, so I'll get this off and I'll test it separately. But then we'll go from there, really. So it's going to be a new motor or a new switch, but my money's on the motor at this point. Thank you for watching.